So I'm Chinese. I got to my house and discovered my mom changed all the locks. I didn't know what was going on until I figured out my mom was trying to sell me off to be married to some random person I've never met. This story gets so crazy, let me tell you exactly what went down. I went out on Friday for a few hours with some friends. Just some shopping and catching up. I haven't seen some of them for the last 2 years due to COVID, when we used to hang out almost every week. And I'm leaving the country in a few weeks, so we took this opportunity as a catch-up and a farewell party. I was out from the late afternoon till about 10 p.m. When I got home, I took out my keys to unlock the gate, but it won't fit. I tried to turn the key around, yes, like a USB, thinking it might fit the other way, but still could not fit. I called my mother, she didn't answer. Called my grandmother who lives with me, but she was out with her friends as well and won't be home anytime soon. At this point, I was pissed. My mother already burnt a couple of my work pants the day before because I refused to wear a dress for work. My line of work requires me to move around a lot, so a dress or office skirt was not suited for my environment. I shook the gate, but no one was home, so I picked the lock. I opened the metal gate after a few tries. Luckily, the wooden door behind it was not locked. The neighbors called the police, and of course I had to show them I actually lived there, and this was my legal address. It took some essentials, and I went to stay at my friend's house for the night, because, well, I could not lock the door back, and I did not feel safe in a house without a locked door. The next day, my grandmother and I were invited to go to a pre-wedding event. It was kind of like meeting the elders and engagement party/ceremony type. My mother only sent me this address and time for it. It was perfectly normal for my grandmother to be invited to these things via my mom. My grandmother does not know how to use a phone other than basic functions like calling. We showed up on time to the cafe and were escorted to a booth-type seat at the corner of the cafe. The booth already had a lady in her mid-40s and a guy. I assumed she was the mother and the guy was her son. The moment we sat down, the lady took out a colander and notepads filled with a list of flower arrangements, color schemes, menus, dresses, hairstyles, etc. She introduced her son, who was 28 by the way, told me what he does for a living and what he studies and where. She thanked me, agreeing to marry him. I looked at her, then to her son, then to the wedding planner and notes. Then did it finally register? This was for my wedding? My grandmother was mad to say the least. I apologized to the lady and said there must have been some kind of misunderstanding between us because I came to attend someone's engagement party, not plan my own. And I added I was only 20 this year. My grandmother then rudely asked why she thought I would be marrying her son. The lady replied her mother contacted me and said her daughter was looking for a partner and a husband to settle down so she could move out. My grandmother calmly said to the lady that she's been lied to. I was not going to be getting married anytime soon. She said her son seems nice and hopes he finds someone who likes him to marry in the future, but it was not going to be me. We got up and left. When we got home, I found my things stuffed in a black plastic bag beside the door. My grandmother opened the door and told me to bring my stuff in. The moment I stepped through the door, my mother yelled that she put so much effort into finding me a guy who, quote, would have taken a girl like me to marry, and I just should have been grateful she did not just marry me off to an older dude. I should be happy she found someone my age. She told me I embarrassed her because the mother called her and told her what she did was not okay and to not do it again without even asking or informing me properly. My grandmother started to shout at my mother in Cantonese, which resulted in them being in a heated argument for almost 30 minutes. And Moo grandmother kicked out my mom, which of course she moaned about it and cried before leaving. I just want to go ahead and mention, if it was not for OP's grandmother in this story, who knows what could have happened. It seemed like the mother of OP was pretty vile for trying to force something like this onto someone. I don't know, guys. Tell me your opinion on this one. I thought it was a pretty wild story. I wish I could have been a fly on the wall when the grandmother was yelling at OP's mom in Cantonese. Okay, the next story we're going to look at today is an Am I the A-hole? Am I the a-hole for saying my half-sister cannot work in the family business? Guys, if you're not subscribed, please know it supports me so much. The subscribe button should be like right here. Just click it really quick if you're enjoying these, and let's hop into the next story. Hey, what's up guys? Just a quick interruption. I wanted to announce something that we added to the channel. It's a subscription-based button. You can find it right under the videos next to subscribe. It'll say join. What it is a membership, and you can support the channel with various different options. The higher tier options even allows you to be animated into the end credits of a story. It's crazy the stuff that we're adding, so if you want to support the channel, check it out and by all means, go for it. I hope you guys have a great day and enjoy the stories. My mom passed away when I was 4. I have 2 older brothers who were 6 and 7. When she passed, our dad remarried just after my 9th birthday and had 2 children with his second wife. My brothers and I are 28, 30, and 31 now, and my half-sister recently turned 15. My brothers and I work with our mom's parents. She set up a restaurant with them before she had us. And our grandparents have told us we'll be the owners eventually, as we were to make the decisions like owners. My half-sister's obsessed with being a chef. She watches all the cooking shows and wants to be famous. Recently, she started asking if she can work at the restaurant and start to get to know the family business. She said she'd love to take over as a head chef one day and her mom could be her head waitress. My brothers told her she's getting way too carried away, but she got all excited. She ended up talking to our dad about working for us, and he said he was okay with it as long as we were. Well, we're not. What it comes down to is this is a business our mom started with her parents for us to take over someday. For our family. None of us believe she wants our dad's second wife or half-siblings who are nothing to do with her working there. And taking such a huge place in it. We know our grandparents aren't comfortable with it either. I'm the most gentle of us 3, so I told her she could not work for us. I encouraged her to find somewhere else to work instead. She asked me why, and I told her it was a decision made by those of us who owned/ran the business. She asked me how it could be a family business if we don't allow family to work there. Then said how her mom should have been asked a long time ago. I told her that wouldn't make sense since her mom's not related to my grandparents, the owners, and that ultimately it's my mom's legacy for her children and how we're trying to honor that. She said it was dumb and to duck how my mom would feel when she can't even speak about it. My dad and his wife were mad that we turned her down. They said she is our family and that should be what matters. It also brought some bitterness up about dad's wife not being offered a place at the restaurant years ago. Seems there's some weirdness because dad's worked alongside mom and grandparents for a while when they were first married. So what I'm asking is, am I the a-hole? Well, I would say my opinion on this story is not the a-hole. It seems like most people pick that in the comment section, but there was basically a comment that broke down the truth. Let's read it and let me know what you guys think, if you agree with this or not. Not the a-hole. Your grandparents are the owners. True. You have no say. If she wants to be a chef, great. Your dad and stepmom should help her. McDonald's is a great place to start. Comment 2 said, oh yeah, and maybe culinary school if she wants to be a famous chef, unless she's Gordon Ramsay in disguise. Not the a-hole. So guys, let me know your thoughts on this one. We're going to look at the next story now. I have 2 more stories for you today, and they're both Am I the A-holes. This one's called Am I the A-hole for asking about my share of inheritance? Just know This one's crazy. Let's get to it. I, 32 female, am the eldest child in a family of 8. Dad, mom, 2 brothers, 3 sisters. Our parents told me I was adopted when I was 10. All my siblings knew I was adopted, but I was never treated any differently, and I've never felt like I wasn't part of the family. Some years ago, Grandma, my mom's mom, passed away in her sleep very suddenly without a will. As a result, Mom had a lot of trouble with her siblings when it comes to splitting assets. It took years for everything to settle down, after which Mom told us she would be drawing up a will to prevent the same thing from happening. Mom came home from the lawyers beaming, saying everything's settled. We were like, okay, great. But in her excitement, she started telling us who's getting what. My 29-year-old sister told her she doesn't have to tell because it's awkward. But Mom says she doesn't want any surprises and wants us to know in uncertain terms as to what we're getting so we don't fight and contest the will because it's final. After she finished rattling off the list, my siblings and I realized that I've been left out. So my 25-year-old brother asked what I'm getting. Mom stopped smiling and asked me if that's what I've asked my brother to say. I said no I didn't, but I am too wondering why I wasn't mentioned. I don't know what happened, but something seemed to snap in her after I said that. She told me I should not be greedy and should be grateful that she raised me, because who knows where I could be and what I'm doing otherwise. I was hurt and told her that it really wasn't about the money, but leaving me out of her will was just clearly hurtful. And if she had really seen me as her child, she wouldn't have left me out and said all those awful things. Mom reiterated that the will's final and then she excused herself. I left shortly after, but my 15-year-old sister told me that Mom did not come out of her room until the next day. I tried to resume things as it were, but her speech and text messages to me had become short and curt. She no longer calls. We used to talk all the time. Dad told me I should not have been rude and disrespectful to my mom, that I broke her heart and should apologize. I told him what happened, and he said her money is her decision, and that I shouldn't have challenged her. I did not want to argue, so I just said nothing. My siblings have been trying to talk to my mom and dad about this, but it seems to only make them unhappy. Dad accused me of turning my siblings against them. I haven't visited my parents since the incident with my mom. It was about 3 weeks ago, and we adult kids usually visit every week if nothing comes up. Am I the a-hole for asking about my share of inheritance, which basically challenges my mom's right to her money and assets for causing this conflict? So let's break this down a little. I don't understand why OP's asking if she's the a-hole. I strongly feel like the parents are the a-hole. This says, not the a-hole, but your parents definitely are. Quote, I broke her heart and should apologize. Then they say, for what exactly? Mom chose to leave her out of the will. How was that OP wrongdoing? Quote, Dad accused me of turning my siblings against them. Again, Mom chose this, not OP. So yeah, not the a-hole. This is the kind of thing that families don't come back from. Speaking from experience. Well guys, I told you that was a wild story. Let me know in the comment section, do you think the mother should have put OP in the will? Our final story of the day, am I the a-hole for spending money on my friends and my co-business, then my sister's endless IVF funds? It is ridiculous that I have to even ask this question, but since everyone in my family's triggered by me, my own trust in my decisions eroding, give me some judgment. I'm 34 female, have a sister who's 29, who's been battling infertility issues for the past 5 years. Since I'm not married, I don't plan to have children. My parents are desperately looking to have a grandchild, and so is doing everything they can to support my sister. Some of her previous failed pregnancies were high risk, and she had to quit most of her jobs halfway through after getting pregnant, and her husband makes just enough to support them both. So, to help them financially, my parents along with one of my paternal aunts set up a small fund to support the IVF procedures. The thing is, at first everyone was motivated, and since we had about, 25 people from the community and family who chipped in every Christmas, it was okay and did not burden just that much. And the burden never fell on me, although since the start I was pressured into contributing the most. Over the years, many people have dropped out. Now it's just 7 of us, including me, my retired parents, and other retired aunts and uncles who don't even have 1/4 the amount to donate. Since then, it's been nothing but pressure to donate more to my side. I've stood my ground and said no, and everyone just keeps guilt-tripping me. My sister keeps taking loans after loans, and I don't know, but the anger and stress of it all is being projected onto me. However, I decided that this time around, I no longer want to contribute as much. Mind you, I used to contribute upwards of $7,000 every year. After years of feeling used for money and being a doormat, I got enough and made my stand. I instead decided to start and invest in a small baking side business with my friend, which I kept hushed for a long whiles, till we publicized our social media account. My sister found out and made a scene to my parents, saying I was being cruel and greedy with my money, when literally all this while I was the one contributing the most. This baking side hustle has been a dream of mine since being young. Never mind the fact that they don't want to support me because my sister's IVF issues overshadows everything. But they keep belittling my passions and efforts. Sis says that, quote, baking aspirations can be halted and continued, but she only has limited time left. Laugh out loud, WTF. Am I the a-hole here? Like, please tell me if I'm not crazy. Obviously, whatever she says, I'm sticking to my baking business. Plus, it's so cooperated with my friend, I can't just quit the side hustle on a whim. Let's just go ahead and read this comment because OP replied to it. Not the a-hole, $7,000 a year. That's insanely generous, but I don't blame you for wanting to stop. It's really messed up for her to expect you to spend $7,000 a year so she can try to have a baby. Let them be mad at you. This is literally not your responsibility. Here's what OP had to say about that. Thank you. Yes, $7,000 was from my own savings. Luckily, because I cohabit with my friend, we save a huge amount on rent and try to live frugally. I'm in tech and I'm a managerial position, so yes, I can afford to help her, but after tirelessly helping, I don't even get a thanks. Instead, I get asked for more. Exactly, I wish nothing but the best for my sister, but I can't keep forking up money like this all the time, she asks. Well, I have to agree, that would really suck. Let me know in the comments down below what you would do if you were in OP's position. $7,000 is a ton of money. Alright guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching these stories. I hope you enjoyed them. If you did, you know where the like button is. It supports me so much. See ya guys. The latest Mr. Reddito producer, Christine Billings. Thank you so much for the support.